pay you. Ever find yourself wondering, what's next? Maybe a totally new career, or perhaps your first job, or maybe you're just curious about the whole tech world.
Mm-hmm.
If that sounds like you, well, you're definitely in the right spot. Today we're doing a deep dive into a big question.
Hmm.
Is programming actually a good career choice?
Yeah, it's a really common question. And we've been looking at this piece from ObserverPoint. It came out just recently, April 5th, 2025.
Okay.
It's called Is Programming a Good Career? Exploring Opportunities and Growth. And, well, it's got some really interesting points.
Right. So our mission today is basically to pull out the key stuff from that article. Yeah. Focus on the opportunities, the growth, that kind of thing.
Exactly. What does it really say about the potential there?
Okay, let's get into it then. The article starts off strong, talking about demand,
Hmm.
and it seems like it's much broader than maybe people think.
Oh, definitely. That really jumped out. ObserverPoint makes it clear it's not just the usual suspects, the tech firms needing programmers.
Mm-hmm.
Think about manufacturing or farming, even healthcare. Industries you might not immediately connect with coding.
Oh, okay.
They're all leaning more and more on custom software. The article points to a real surge, not just for, like, the apps on your phone, but for internal systems in these more traditional fields.
So things like supply chain management, automation, that sort of stuff.
Precisely. They're investing heavily in bespoke software for that.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
You don't picture a farmer needing a coder, but I guess modern agriculture is pretty tech-heavy.
It absolutely is. And crucially, the article stresses this isn't just a temporary thing, a blip.
It's to grow.
That's the projection. As tech gets woven deeper into, well, everything, the need for skilled software engineers is just expected to climb.
Skilled being the key word there, I imagine.
Definitely. ObserverPoint mentions positive job growth forecasts specifically for programming roles. So it looks like a stable market, but also one that's, expanding.
Which is, well, it's pretty comforting if you're thinking about investing time and effort into learning this stuff.
Absolutely. Feels more like a fundamental shift, not just a short-term trend.
In this broad demand, it probably means there are lots of different types of programming jobs too, right? It's not just one kind of role.
Not at all. And that's a big plus. The article talks about a whole spectrum of opportunities.
Like what?
Well, you could be in a really fast-paced startup, trying to build the next big thing. Or maybe you prefer the structure of a large corporation working on complex systems.
Okay.
Then there's freelancing, picking your own projects, or consulting, applying your skills across different businesses.
So real variety.
Yeah, that diversity in job types is a major advantage. It gives people a better chance to find something that really fits them.
And the article talks about this continuous need for coding skills. That suggests longevity, doesn't it? Like, this is a career path with legs.
I think that's a really crucial point. If you zoom out, software is just fundamental now. So those core coding skills, understanding logic, problem solving, they're likely to stay valuable for a long time.
It's not just about chasing the latest trendy language then.
Well, staying current is important, sure, but the underlying principles, they have a much longer shelf life.
Okay, so demand looks really solid, it's growing, lots of variety in jobs. Let's switch gears a bit. What about the money? That's always a big factor. The article suggests salaries are pretty good.
Yes, that's definitely highlighted as a major draw. ObserverPoint states that programming jobs often come with competitive salaries. The median for software developers is generally above the national average.
Which is a good baseline.
It's a solid starting point for sure. While they don't compare it directly to every other field, being above the national average usually signals that your skills are valued financially.
And it's not just about starting pay, is it? Does the article mention growth in earnings?
It does. It points out that as you gain experience and maybe specialize in sought-after technologies, your earning potential can go up significantly.
Ah, specialization. Makes sense.
Yeah, so there's a clear route to substantial financial growth as you build your expertise. Like any specialized profession, really the more valuable your niche skills, the more you can potentially earn.
High demand plus specialized skills equals higher pay.
Got it. Did the article mention what influences those salary ranges?
It did touch on that. Things like where you live, obviously your experience level, and the specific technologies you know, they all play a part.
It's like an AI specialist in New York versus a junior web dev somewhere cheaper.
Exactly. Someone working on cutting-edge stuff in a high-cost area is likely to earn more than a beginner using more standard tech in a lower-cost region. It varies.
And it's not just the salary figure, right? Benefits often come into play, too.
Right, good point. The article mentions the whole package. Many programming jobs come with comprehensive benefits, health insurance, retirement plans,
Things that add real value.
definitely. And as we'll get to, things like flexible work arrangements, which can be a massive perk on its own. Okay, so financially, it seems like a potentially rewarding path. Let's move beyond money, though. What about the work itself? The article talks about intellectual stimulation.
Yes, and this is so important for, sticking with a career long term. ObserverPoint really emphasizes this. It describes programming as inherently stimulating.
How so?
Well, as a developer, you're constantly bumping up against complex problems, and you need creative thinking, logical thinking to figure them out. It's not just mechanically following steps.
Sounds like it's good for puzzle solvers.
Absolutely. If you like figuring things out, tackling challenges, it could be a great fit. The article even talks about the satisfaction you get from writing code and then actually seeing it work.
Yeah, seeing your creation come to life.
Exactly. That tangible result of your mental effort, it can be incredibly motivating, building something useful.
And I like that the article framed it not as reaching some endpoint, but as a journey. Constant learning.
That's so true. Technology just doesn't stand still, does it? New languages pop up, new frameworks. Those are like toolkits for coders. New ways of working.
So you have to keep up.
You really do.
Yeah.
Programmers are always learning, always adapting, which honestly can be really exciting if you enjoy that kind of challenge and want to stay current.
Keeps things from getting boring, I suppose.
Definitely prevents monotony.
Okay, another big factor people look for now. Flexibility. Did the article cover that?
It did, and it's presented as a significant plus for software development careers. ObserverPoint specifically calls out how common remote work is becoming.
Right.
The work itself, coding, problem solving on a computer, just lends itself really well to remote collaboration.
And that trend has just exploded recently, hasn't it? It's not just a few companies anymore.
No, it's much more mainstream. The article notes this acceleration towards remote work in software development. That potential to work from almost anywhere. That's a huge deal for work-life balance.
It's a game changer for a lot of people.
Wow.
And is it just about location flexibility? What about hours?
The article mentions that too. While, deadlines are deadlines, there's often more autonomy in structuring your workday compared to some other fields.
So a bit more control over your schedule.
Potentially, yes. More flexibility in managing your time day to day, which again helps with personal commitments and just general well-being.
So remote options, potentially more control over hours, definitely makes it attractive for balancing life and work. Now, one thing, the article didn't have like a separate skills you need section, but it kept mentioning skilled programmers being in demand.
Yeah, that's an important underlying theme, isn't it? While it's focused on the benefits of the career, the implicit message is clear. These great opportunities, the good salaries, the flexibility, they're primarily for people who've actually put in the work to build the necessary skills.
Right, it's not automatic.
No, it underscores how important education, learning, and getting good at the relevant technologies really are.
You have to actually be able to do the job, not just want the perks.
Precisely. The rewards are there, but they're tied to mastering the craft and, crucially, keeping up with how fast things change in software.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. Pulling everything together from this ObserverPoint piece,
Yeah.
it really feels like the answer to, is programming a good career, leans heavily towards yes.
I'd agree with that summary.
We've talked about the strong demand, and that it's still growing across lots of different industries.
Yep.
There's the potential for attractive pay, which can really increase as you get more experienced and specialized.
Right, the financial upside is clear.
Then there's the work itself. Intellectually engaging, lots of problem solving, constant learning.
Which keeps it interesting.
And finally, that significant flexibility, especially with remote work becoming so common.
Yeah, ObserverPoint lays out a really compelling case.
Yeah.
All those factors together make it seem like a very viable, potentially very rewarding path.
So for everyone listening,
Mm-hmm.
maybe you're thinking about a career shift, or this is your first time looking for a career path, or maybe you just dabble in code, you're curious. Considering all this, the opportunities, the way tech keeps changing, maybe think about this. What specific part of programming might you find most exciting to explore? And looking ahead, if this demand just keeps rising, what kind of cool, innovative stuff could you see yourself building someday?
It's definitely food for thought.
Absolutely. Hopefully this deep dive gave you some useful things to consider.